first time in a long time. I feel like I've just gone back a few decades. So doing some shopping, and for the first time in about 10 years I got the I suppose look and grab, which to anyone that doesn't really know will be a look of fear followed by grabbing your belongings. So checking that your bag is right next to your body so no one can take it, which most black people will probably be aware of that feeling and seeing that, but it's been a very long time since that has actually taken place where I've actually been aware of it. Now most people are probably thinking that it's been brought on by ourselves because of all the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff, but to quickly go back to a world where you're grabbing onto your handbag means that it had to already be ingrained in you to feel that way, and so maybe things haven't progressed as far as we thought they had. I don't know, I think maybe because I haven't had to deal with that in such a long time that I thought I was over it, I thought I was past it. Obviously not. But yeah, I think it just really got to me. I don't really do personal posts and don't really do videos of myself. And anyone that knows me knows that I'm super polite. I'll do anything to help anyone if I can't help them personally, or maybe try and point them in the right direction. I don't mind taking time out to help anyone and just be a decent human being. When you see things like that, when a woman sort of just looks at you with this fear that you can't really comprehend, it puts everything right back. It makes you feel like they say you are. So for the generations and hundreds of years ago, how black people were perceived in a certain way, thieves and rapists and lazy and whatever else, they wanted to add on to that. That's what we were, and when you see that fear in someone's eyes and they grab onto their handbag, it kind of just makes you feel that that's what you are, that you're, doing some shopping and you're just going to take someone's handbag. Doesn't really seem to fit the bill of anything I know, or anyone I know. I'm sure it happens, probably not so much in a supermarket, but that's neither here nor there. But for I'm mixed race, but I'm quite dark, so people just perceive that as black. That's how I refer to myself. some of it has obviously been unnecessary, and I don't think that matters who you are. Away from, we know that both sides have gone over the top. But if, or wanting to stop going to a supermarket because, you know, any other ethnicity is now going to be worried that I'm going to start doing something to them, would that not also be, you know, in reverse? You know, I know how the media portrayed it of, you know, the white supremacists, but does that not mean that if the protests and how some of the violence has happened there from both sides, should I now be fearful when I go out that they're going to come for me, or they're going to attack me, or, you know, something's going to happen because, you know, I don't know who I'm walking past. I don't look at anyone in any kind of certain way. They're just people walking by doing their thing, you know. But I can imagine some people going, okay, so some, you know, Caucasian person has grabbed their bag and looked at you in fear, but you brought it on yourselves. But what about in reverse, when you've got people that are probably smaller than me, possibly a bit more vulnerable? Is that going to be okay? Is that going to be fit for purpose? You know? And I've never agreed with the level of the protests. I know a lot of people are saying, well, why are they protesting, why are they rioting, this isn't going to change anything. Well, riots and protests have happened for 800 years, and, you know, there's been smaller protests and smaller things happening before they got to those points where they actually put a name to it. You know, so for almost a millennia, people have been rioting when things have got to a point where they won't take anymore. It's nothing new, and it'll happen again and again throughout history. I suppose until we all kill each other or whatever. But yeah, I mean, the point in the post really is, I feel like I've gone back sort of 15 years to being in my late teens. You know, not really having a good concept of why people were acting that way. I'd sometimes put it down to the area. You know, if I was in a little city or town where you could see that the minority was really a minority, you know, a couple of specks of colour, you know, I sort of put it down to them not being used to having people of colour around, and I suppose I gave it an excuse. Whether I should have or not is neither here nor there, I suppose, but yeah, I feel like I've gone back to being sort of 17, 18 and, you know, being treated like a mindless thug, and that gets into your head of, well, if that's what they think, then, you know, I'm not going to get anywhere, I'm not going to be able to do anything with my life, I'm not going to be able to make it better, this is going to be my life from now on. So I can understand how people get stuck in their ways, and how poverty just, you know, follows on generation to generation, and that's not excusable, because there are obviously people that have broke out the mould and they have come from poverty and they've worked and they've made something of their life. You know, I don't have the most luxurious of lives, but I have a life that I never thought that I'd have, where I can, you know, go to work and I have my car and go on holiday and, you know, have nice stuff. But some people don't get out, and I can understand why sometimes they don't get out, because they get bombarded with a image of themselves that they just can't get out of. And if in is diverse in race. You know, there's many different races in our town, and to revert so quickly to think that if you're going to see a relatively large, you know, black person coming towards you, that you need to grab your bag. A deeper toxic world could be coming, because I think we're now so opinionated, and everyone's voice has to be the loudest, and it has to be the right voice, rather than saying, well, actually I can see aspects of understanding from all sides. Now we need to work together to find out how we make sure that, you know, British heritage is strong and it stays there, and it's there for generations to learn, whether it was a mistake or whether it was from a, you know, a good, honest person, or whether we need to look at the reform and look how everybody, every race, ethnicity, religion can work together going forward. Because if it is just a case of who can rally loudest and longest and who's the most destructive, then that's all we're going to be left with, is destruction. You know, and from the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, I'm seeing posts of things about Muslim schools. Well, Muslims are religion, for starters, not a race, you know, because you can be born a white British person and still be Muslim, so your case means nothing there. I'm dark for mixed race, so I'll just class it as black, it's just easier that way, but I'm black British, I'm not black, I didn't just come out of the country of black, you know, I'm British, so I'm proud to be British. Have we done things, and have we had people that aren't really the best people? Yes, but it's part of our history, and tearing down the statues isn't going to make that history go away. We need to teach people that actually some of these people were wrong, their ideas were wrong, or their ideology was wrong. And just taking it away isn't going to erase that. Taking it away actually erases the history of the people that they belittled and berated and beat down into submission. And for me, that's not good enough. You know, those people that were slaves and that died, and, you know, all the horrific things that happened to them, they would have gone through that in vain. It's that simple. So don't let those people, you know, have died in vain, those people that are beaten and some of the most horrendous, you know, acts alive would have been happening to them. And if you take that away, they're not getting any peace from that, they're going to be forgotten. And, you know, that's not fair either. So yeah, I just think I needed to get my thoughts out, because I'm feeling like I'm 17 again, and that I shouldn't be in the supermarket just walking around shopping. You know, I thought we'd long past that to a point, and I don't have any, you know, tinted glasses on, where I thought that racism has been eradicated from Britain, not by a long shot. But I thought that with the growth of population and the integration of just cities just, you know, spreading, because they're getting bigger and they're getting fuller from, you know, all sorts of ethnicities, thought it was a little less than what it is. But we're a medium-sized town on the outskirts of one of the biggest cities in the UK, and we're still there. We're still getting that look and grab, the protection of your belongings. I didn't work my ass off to become the person I am now in comparison to the person I was when I was 17 or 18, just to go back again. Because the picture is being painted wrong, and everyone's just trying to shout the loudest, and if you just try and listen sometimes and just take a minute, maybe you're not wrong, but maybe there is some things that you could help with, or you could help to change, or add your voice to something that's a bit more positive, rather than trying to tear down a race or a religion or a nation. The effects of one moment can erase 10 to 15 years. It's shit, it just, when you're not even remotely that kind of a person, it is like a punch to the gut. And maybe it is because I wear Jordans and I've lost some weight during lockdown, and so my jeans are a little bit baggier than they would normally be. And I'm quite big, and so maybe I fit that stereotypical black thug that's gonna, just walk off with your handbag or whatever it is you think I'm gonna do. But I don't think that's really excusable. When I'm at work, I'm in a suit. Does that mean that you'd be happy to just put your handbag down next to me if I'm in a suit? But if I'm in jeans and some Jordans, that makes me a different person? Or because you see me in those clothes, you think I probably don't go to work, I don't, have to put on a suit and go to work and sit in meetings in boardrooms most of my days. You think I'm dealing drugs, stealing to make my money? Is that the gist of it? And in these moments, these times where things move back a decade, it takes a lot to push it back into your head that just because that is how somebody sees you doesn't mean that that is what you are. So I know that I'm a good person. Do I do things wrong? Do I say the wrong thing? Yes, obviously I'm human. Have I made mistakes in the past? Yes, a lot of them. I've been in trouble, but being black and being in trouble at 17 and 18 is no different to the same amount of white 17 and 18 year olds. They're also in trouble. They've also done things that are wrong. It just seems that you don't get to lose that if you're black and look a certain way. So maybe the next time you see a big black person, maybe not try to look so scared, because generally they're not going to be thinking, I wonder if I can get that bag. It's just not the way it works. I mean, yes, obviously if you're in a big city that has outskirts of poverty and stuff, I'm not saying don't be careful, but generally shopping in Sainsbury's is not going to have people running around trying to steal your handbag. So if you take anything from this, just remember that we can read your looks, we're not thick. Just because you think we look like thugs doesn't mean that we are. And just because history painted us as thieves and rapists, lazy, good for nothings, doesn't mean that we are. You know, we're teachers and we're athletes, we're business owners, we're inventors, just like every other race and religion on this planet. So yeah, generally proud to be black, proud to be British, but when I'm made to feel a certain way, that pride melts away.